Hello and welcome to another episode of The Creative Jam. It's nice to have you back. It's nice to be back. And we are one man down for the first time.
So 3 turns to 2.
3 collective turns into 2 collective.
Yep.
Don't
Hopefully
worry.
for one night only.
Yeah, you've got Simon and myself, Jack, here tonight. Today, I suppose. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is you listen to it, but right now it's a Tuesday night after a long bank holiday weekend. A long bank holiday weekend that went too quickly.
Yeah, didn't feel very long at all.
The extra day is not enough.
It never does though, does it really?
No. But yeah, we're missing Matt today. He's got a migraine, so he's out. He's been hooked. So we're advertising for spots as free availability as a third host. Get in quick before he comes back.
New creative.
If you fit the bill, if you're a creative, if you are from the north of England, and if you chat absolute shit, then you could get a place on this podcast. I'm sure I'll be back next week.
Yeah.
He's still alive. We're gonna have a workshop with him in a few days. So me and Simon are currently on babysitting or kitten sitting duty. As you might have heard in the last episode, we rescued a kitten who's found in a skip. We've subsequently named her. She's called Bella, and she's currently chewing my foot right now.
Missed a trick there, didn't we? Black and white cat. Should have called her Jess.
Yeah.
Shit.
Throwback.
Oh.
Shout out, Postman Pat, wherever you are.
Big boy.
It's been interesting trying to mother a 5-week-old kitten. Shouldn't really be left alone at that young age, but what can you do? So Simon and I are acting cat mothers to this little kitten.
2 dads, pretty much.
2 dads.
2 dads and a little thing. But she keeps sleeping and she keeps defecating in my bed as well, which isn't great.
She keeps shitting in Simon's bed.
But she won't sleep anywhere else. That's the fucked up thing. It's one of them. It takes up your lifestyle a little bit, but she'll be fine. It's rather better here than a skip, isn't it, really?
So we thought, in the absence of Matt, we would try something quite interactive and fun today. Not that we wouldn't try that with Matt.
Nope.
But we were kind of scrambling for ideas, and like this week's been quite a bit rushed actually because we were off yesterday because it's Bank Holiday Monday. I don't know about you, but like work mode for me started today instead of normally there's a day prep, Monday's out the way, you're in work mode, and then when Tuesday comes along,
today is very Monday.
I'm kind of in the zone, but
yeah, Tuesday's Monday.
Yeah, Tuesday's Monday.
Tuesday's Monday.
So
that's good though. 4-day week.
Forgive us if we're a bit slow off the mark, but we got our bottle of Côte d'Aron. Côte d'Aron, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Birthday wine for me.
Nice black letter typography on it as well.
Yeah.
Very nice.
What's it saying? What style is it?
I think it's Fractal, which is a style of black letter.
Nice.
I can't remember why. No, I think it's, like black letter generally was. It was around for many years. Old English is the same, actually. Same kind of style, but a lot of people know it as the kind of Nazi font, which I think I might have discussed before. I can't remember.
The Nazi font.
Yeah. Which is a shame because it's such a beautiful kind of style lettering, really. I really love black letter.
So you mentioned that the other day to me when we were watching the Community Shield, Liverpool versus Arsenal,
yes.
and Arsenal had...
Yes, like a black letter. I'm trying to put this
yeah, you quite liked it, didn't you?
Yeah, it was beautiful.
I was a bit and ahhing about it because I just thought, in relation to the form of like a football shirt, it seemed a bit jarring.
Yeah, I must admit it was very personal. That's why I like it. But I mean, you look at like tattoo culture these days, like more like black work tattoos, like black work artists. A lot of people getting like the birthday to, for example, 1993 in that kind of similar style. You've seen it before? It's quite a common thing now. Like a lot of people get this kind of birthday, but in that similar style. It's very similar to Arsenal's numerals, and I think the numerals are really nice. just different, you know. Like it's not the standard Premier League kind of sans
It's nice
serif.
to see, I guess, like
Just
a big
different,
club doing something quite stylistic and out there.
Yeah. It makes you wonder. I mean, maybe it's a resurgence, like really pop culture to have black leather now. I don't know. I think it's Betty's a mix in that though, between like, you know, kids getting these like numbers tattooed on them, like the birthday basically, in that style. That's probably why Nike's starting to use that on the kits and stuff. Like a trendy thing, which is interesting though.
Well, Arsenal's Adidas.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
I thought you Nike.
No, they're Adidas.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
Well,
they got that
same
nice
thing.
home kit, haven't
Same thing.
they? But Adidas originates from Germany, right?
Yeah, maybe it does.
So maybe there's a hint there. Not that it is a
Possibly.
Nazi font,
No,
but it originates. It's got
use it a lot.
German
It's
vibes,
quite like,
isn't it?
yeah. It's very much like popularized by Germanic kind of.
Well, I remember
know.
when we went to Berlin, like you were in awe of like all the train stations,
Yeah.
the underground trains, the metros, and that.
Betty was telling us, wasn't she? We saw some cool train station fonts. Because she liked them as well, didn't she? She was saying a little tiny conversation about it
Who?
to her, Betty, you know, the tour guide.
Oh, Betty, yeah.
Oh,
we
Betty.
we had a tour guide when we went to Berlin. We wouldn't normally do that, but
No, it was a cool tour guide. It's not you boring.
yeah,
Oh,
I
this
got
is new.
bought it for me as a birthday thing.
No,
but,
that's cool.
yeah, the lettering of those train stations was amazing. Like they all had different ones, didn't they? Each station had like a different type.
Yeah, I think so. Which is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
No consistency, but
Wonder
in
why
that
that is.
respect. Don't know. Do you reckon it's because some of them got kind of destroyed in the war or something and they had to remake them? I don't know.
Probably not, because I mean Berlin got heavily bombed, so like I think not much survived at all.
Just all new.
I remember seeing an image of like at least the top, the surface of Berlin after, and it was just there's nothing there. It looked a bit
Hiroshima-esque.
I was about to say that, yeah, it had comparisons to Hiroshima, but
That's crazy.
I don't know what
isn't
the underground looked like, but
it? Yeah, but I know what you mean.
probably non-existent, I would say. So everything is
No.
kind of from after that, but
yeah,
you know,
it's
it's
advanced with it either. The train tracks won't be original
like-
from the war. No chance.
also you know, a lot of those stations were past these Germany lines, so they were Soviet era, which is interesting. So you've got like a blend of East and West Germany. Yeah, so that's interesting. But you don't really see that anywhere else, because like London is kind of the same altogether.
Yeah, Johnston or Johnson.
That's the guy that designed it.
Yeah, and I think he was he wasn't actually a typographer. I think he's a draftsman. So he used to like draftsman. It's kind of like, what did he do? Like draw more like plans, like architecture kind of guy. Not exactly. That's not exactly true, but he wasn't a typographer. He just kind of made this typeface, you know, because he was obviously skilled in drafting, which essentially really graphic artist basically, but like old school in the 1930s, I think it was. And it got remade by Monotype. I think it was Monotype. My line there. I think Monotype might have digitized it, and an agency designed it. But the new one, because it's not the same as it used to be, but it's very, very similar. It's like a bit like a redesign, like a refresh.
Right.
And they kept little elements like the you look at the J, the kind of what would you call it? I think the tittle at the top of it, like the little circle at the top. That's like a diamond, and that's been retained, which is pretty cool. But it's all new. Like it got redesigned 2018. I could be talking shit, but there's some base in this.
Is this the same guy as done the logo, so to speak, the red
Underground.
circle underground thing? Because I think the person who did that has done something else that's quite famous.
Probably, maybe, yeah.
Let me have a quick Google here.
I'm just pretty sure. Maybe it's something to do with the draftsman anyway. That was like, yeah.
London.
Oh shit! Actually, I'm thinking the map. You know, the draftsman was the map.
Right.
Put in
So
logo.
Harry Beck designed the map, tube map. It's a design classic.
Electrical draftsman.
Child of electrical draftsman Harry Beck, who produced this back in 1933.
So he wasn't the draftsman himself, was he? Not his dad was a draftsman. Is that right?
No.
Oh, it was a brainchild. Oh, sorry, yeah.
Brainchild.
No, it was him. Yeah, he was a draftsman. Yeah, I got that completely wrong. It
What?
wasn't a typeface. And
But
there
that's
we go.
just the map, yeah.
Oh shit! Thinking about it, actually, this might be interesting. It's actually a funny conversation I had with Harry Mitten, kind of this morning.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, click on that.
No, you might be right, yeah. Johnston typeface. It's a sans serif typeface designed and named by Edward Johnston.
Okay.
It was commissioned for the Underground Electrical Rails Company of London to strengthen the company's corporate identity.
Yeah, so they kind of used that first and then built the kind of logo based off that, I guess.
Yeah, so you're right, yeah.
I'm kind of right. And I thought it was kind of the draftsman. Oh, shit. So see how it says there? I can't really read that. I need glasses. Read that. What's that from Johnston there? Go up one. What'd that say? Johnston's work originated.
The genre of humanist sans serif typeface. Typefaces that are sans serif but take inspiration from traditional serif fonts and Roman inscriptions.
His student Eric Gill,
who worked on development typeface, later used as a model for
Gill Sounds. Yes.
Released in 28.
So this is what I was going to say. I knew that'd be the case, right? Because I was talking to Harry Mitten today. This is a bit of a tangent, really, but it's interesting.
No, go for it.
So he put a thing in Instagram saying like how beautiful this bit of graffiti was. You might know him. So showed you in London, went to London. And he's a big thing on the side of the building in Shoreditch. I think it said like pros and cons. Sorry, it's basically an article called Benign, massive typography models.
Yeah.
You might remember that very, very lightly.
Yeah.
Well, he kind of posted a picture of his that he found on the street, and then he was saying how beautiful it was. And then he backtracked on that and said, I had no idea, but he punched his girlfriend in the face at a what's it called, like a gallery exhibition 2 years ago. And don't think he went down for it. Might have got community service or something, but it's a bit naughty, isn't it? So I was like, wow.
Why would you choose? I mean, I don't condone
domestic abuse,
but why would you choose a gallery to punch your girlfriend
in the face as well and make a lip bleed? Because she accused me of cheating. This is a big tangent to what this Eric Gill was, but anyway. So this is what Harry said. I was like, wow, because I love Ben. I thought he was a fucking incredible artist, like graffiti, but typography based, incredible. But my issue now is the fact that I don't really want to buy his work if he's gonna punch fuck out of his girlfriend. It's not great. But
well, this is a bigger question of, can you separate the artist from the art?
Well, this is it.
Music has this issue quite a lot.
Oh, that's an interesting point. Then okay, so to kind of the whole point of this was, I said to Harry, "Wow, I didn't know that." I had a little conversation. I said, "Well," and he's like, "It's what did he say to me? It was something quite interesting actually." Basically, premise of it was, like, just because he's a good artist doesn't mean he's a good human. It's like, yeah, that makes so much sense. So Eric Gill, going back to full circle now, what he did back in his day, he was like a really amazing sculptor, really good at, like, he used to do etchings and like lino prints, that kind of thing, some beautiful work. But he used to write in his memoirs how he'd have incestuous relationships with his sisters.
I remember you telling me
I was telling you, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Incestuous relationship with his sisters and also his daughters. She denounced it. Well, is denounced the right word to use? But anyway, basically said it was as a lie.
Yeah, denounced, yeah.
But I feel as though that was probably just a cover. And the guy who kind of brought this up got a bit in trouble because he was like, why would you bring this up when his daughter was still alive? Because, this is, you're talking like 1932 he died, 58, so, he's an old boy. But yeah, so it's interesting, could you separate? I hate using that typeface now because every time I do, I think of incestuous kind of stuff. Which is crazy to think. The London Underground is kind of,
so
typography.
I think yeah, it's an interesting topic.
I guess it's personality and talent. It's different.
So I compare it all the time to like music because that question comes up quite a lot.
True.
Because a lot of artists get into deep shit afterwards. But with music, say an artist has released music, you enjoy it, then you find out that they've done something. I mean, there's hundreds of cases.
Well,
for that.
the most recent one, House Painters, Sun Kill Moon.
Red House Painters, yeah. Mark Kozilek. I haven't fully read into that, but
no,
he's
it's a bit suspect.
Done some stuff, and there's loads. Lost Prophets is one.
That's a big one as well. He's an absolutely disgusting.
My childhood dog. Yeah, he's just great, like crazy. But and who's the one that was like the first one that like everyone 80s kind of dude.
80s.
He was like the butt of jokes. About 10, 15 years ago it came out.
You're not talking fucking like Gary Glitter, not like
Gary Glitter, yeah.
Proper bad pedo.
So like with that, music's like still living and breathing to me. So like if I'd find it. So for Lost Prophets, for instance, ever since that came out, before I was a big fan of Lost Prophets and listened to them a lot.
Weren't they? That's the thing.
And afterwards, so basically them as an artist that I listen to is gone to zero. But every now and then, like, well, I say literally like probably twice since, and it's been like 10 years.
Yeah, yeah.
I've like gone and like checked them out and like listened to them to see what my reaction would be.
Yeah.
And it has been a weird experience. I felt dirty listening to it.
Yeah.
But
I think it's bad. I mean, can you really kind of
but then
shun
that's
everyone
such a horrific
just for him?
guy.
Mm.
But then something I hate to like put a scale on like things people have done. But say it was, I don't know where I'm getting at, but like
I know
to me,
saying.
I think music is like living and breathing. So like I found it difficult to listen to Lost Prophets. However, like a Typeface, it's done and like it's made and it's done, and it isn't.
There's no real legacy for it, is there? It just exists for a reason.
It exists.
It's almost like an inanimate object, isn't it? And music's more.
It feels more separate to the author in a way because it's then it's used by everyone. But like,
and don't forget, no one's gonna fucking know that apart from me.
Yeah, and
you know what I mean.
Music has the voice of the person, or like
True.
it's them doing it. But like, because it's like a finished piece of work, a Typeface. Like, there's probably a reason why people don't mention that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I say, it's
Because
only really
it's
people who know who he is. If you're a fan or a designer, like everyone's listening who's a designer, email us and tell me if you actually know this story or what you think about it. That'd be interesting. But yeah, I think it's like typography and even artistry. Like, the work you can see there, kind of the work's beautiful. Really is nice. But I think if you know, you know. You don't, you can't. Ignorance is bliss almost. And like you say, Lost Prophets. Like you were saying before, everything's bad, all these things, but there's scale to kind of, and that is just horrendous what he did, and that's why it's so hard to shut away from, I feel bad for the band members because, they're kind of tarred with the same brush, but they're doing their own thing now, aren't they? So, well, put that one to bed kind of thing.
Undoubtedly struggled because of it, though.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I think it also suffers from human memory and like the time length of something that's happened. So, for instance, people can make Hitler jokes now. Yeah. But you can't make a recent recent like mass killing or something.
Oh, like fucking. Oh.
No one can make jokes about the guy that was in a Las Vegas hotel and shot people in the crowd. No one makes jokes about that, but people can make jokes about Hitler even though he like killed millions of Jews. Because of time, and it's like it's acceptable now, and the further you go back, the more that you don't care. Like no one cares about fucking Civil War and Napoleon killing people. It's not even like a joke now. Even
it's just history now.
Even 9/11 is like a dark joke. Yeah, but like something super recent, or I think I hate to say it, or like Manchester terror attack. Yeah, it's like no one in their right mind would make a joke about that. But it's all right to make a joke about like Hitler. So it's kind of like time makes it acceptable to kind of overcome things and like kind of look at it in a different way. Yeah. So because these are kind of like recent things in terms of the examples you're using with music, it's still quite raw. But, what you're saying about Eric Gill, it was like, 100 years ago?
Actually, probably.
More than 100 years ago, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, actually, probably exactly
100 years ago. Well, he died in the 1940s, I'd say.
So, it's kind of like...
It's a long fucking time.
No one's that arsed. Even just looking at his Wikipedia and what you're talking about, it's mentioned in his personal life section. It's kind of like, it got brought up, but... So he's the guy that created the fonts for the London Underground, the original ones.
Not him specifically. He was with obviously the guy who made it. I've got his name already now. Johnston.
So what's Eric Gill's association with that?
He was a student of the one who made Johnston. So he worked under him as like a typographer. I assume Eric Gill started as a sculptor and an artist first, and got his way into typography as well. Because I think he used to do like engraving stuff.
He's not necessarily. Well, he is older a little bit, but he was the teacher of Eric Gill.
It's cool. It's cool as fuck. Yeah. Sitting there with a quill. Is that like pages of scripture? Oh, it's amazing. It really is amazing.
So he created sans serif?
No, I don't think so. We type in Figgins Sans. Figgins Sans is one to look at quickly. That's similar kind of vein. So Figgins Sans.
Figgins like that.
Yeah, Figgins. Double G. Yeah, you're right. So this was made. I forgot who
This is a Typeface podcast now.
Yeah, Canvas. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I took over.
No. Oh, it's good. It's good.
Yeah. So Figgins Sands. Type in Figgins Sands. Vincent Figgins. There we go. Yes, that's what you want. So I don't think it's confirmed, but arguably one of the kind of really early examples of sans serif.
1766 to 1844. We're going back here.
That's what I'm saying. So he's one of the first
founder based
examples of it you could ever find in the world. But yeah, Figgins Sans was probably the most earliest kind of, example of a sans serif typeface you could find, which is really cool. I used that actually. I did a branding project in university for the design museum, and I chose this typeface to use. That's not it. I don't think. That's just an example of like his typography. But Figgins is really cool.
This is him.
Yeah. What's the
1792?
It's crazy, isn't it? And I think it was like letter pressed as well, like all set by hand.
Yeah.
Crazy. Look at the fucking space on that is crazy as well. So that's the thing. Before digital era, you have to do every single letter by hand. And that's cool as well. See where it says flay? You notice like the kind of, crossband, the F is not there. It's like ligature, it's called.
Right.
So basically the F bends into the L. And that's what happens because you obviously know kerning wise, you have to make that really tight. But to make it easy for yourself, put both together in one bit of metal type.
That's cool. Here it's got like the indented paragraph. So all the way through high school, I used to every single paragraph I would indent the first letter.
That's good though. I like that.
Like hit tab.
It's interesting.
But I got told it might as well have been the last day in school that like that's the wrong way to do it.
That's lies though. It really is. Readability.
I realised no one else was doing it, but like...
Yeah, but you can do.
I don't know, I must have picked it up from somewhere.
Yeah, you must have. If you look at the Bible, I showed you, look in that, you'll find it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Not the actual Bible.
Yeah, no, it's the... maybe it wouldn't, the older version, to be fair, who knows. But yeah, typography is kind of, as long as it reads well, it gives a fuck.
Seeing as we've kind of entered into a...
type discussion.
A type episode. We had a whole different plan for this episode.
Yeah,
we were going to rate our best apps, but we'll save that for another day. Sorry to have mentioned that and maybe disappoint a few people. Those digital heads that were chomping at the bit.
Yeah, it's interesting though. Like I say, all your digital fonts you use and your computers, they came from somewhere.
I feel like I'm really tapping into the mind of Simon's intelligence here, and like you studied this kind of stuff, and it's just interesting. Probably really fun for you to talk about. Here's a basic question, but on a non-basic topic. What are your most influential like typefaces?
Typefaces. That's interesting.
Yeah, that you've kind of like.
I think influential. To be honest, it's not necessarily typefaces. Such like I've used a lot of typefaces. Basically, my go-tos generally are Baskerville's always a mainstay. It's really good for readability, for like typesetting books, things like that. Anything serif, especially Baskerville, they read.
Are they named after the guys
likely people
created them?
But yeah, I think it was. Type in Baskerville, see what comes up. Another guy, Andrew Rogan, who sits at the end, just like types things up.
We need
we need one of them, don't we? Yeah, we do.
We need a Jamie. We need a young Jamie.
Yeah, John Baskerville.
If anyone wants to be a producer for this show, then please take this job off me.
We probably need one, to be fair.
A producer and an editor and a mixer. That'd be great.
Maybe a sound engineer, because we always fuck it up.
Yeah, and a sound engineer.
I can't say much. I sit my ass, do nothing. So.
And even a composer, because take that off my hands as well.
Huh?
And we will pay you in bevs.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this is a great dynamic because you know a lot. I don't, and I need it explained into layman terms. But serif typeface. So there's serif, a kind of category, and then you've got serif like sans serif and stuff like that. Like,
you can break it down quite easily. It's basically you've got sans serif, which is like example everyone know Helvetica sans serif. It's got no kind of serif. A serif is basically like the kind of flick at the end of a letter. You know what I mean by that? Yeah, it's kind of explains very well there. So a serif font, which is got the flicks basically. They've got like, again, I'm not very good at anatomy of type, but I think the E is like a good way to explain it. And the on a G, which is kind of a little flicky bit, generally is let's say that. I think Sans has got that as well. But anyway, it's whatever.
So when someone refers to a serif typeface, then it's basically just always got those like inflections.
Basically, yeah, that's exactly the best way to put it. Yeah. Slab serif, which is similar to a serif. Sorry, slab serif is basically the same thing, but really blocked off. You know, serifs. I'm gonna keep calling them serifs, but
Yeah.
you know, like you say, these flicks, if you want to call them that.
Yeah.
Interesting to see how many of these are English as well, which is interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because obviously it's all
and-
based on like the Roman kind of, you know, style of typography. Because again, you look at Roman, like, you know, etched into like buildings and stuff, like real Roman though. You
Yeah,
know, like,
yeah,
back
yeah.
in the day.
Like in Roman
Even numerals and stuff.
like that.
Yeah, yeah. Go with these
Interesting.
kind of serifs and lovely. So I don't know what they used. I think it was kind of like you know, some kind of a drill, I guess, or even like it must have been a drill or something, not electric, obviously, but some kind of tool to cut letters out of like hot metal type, which is basically a bit of lead, essentially. Drop it on the floor, it'll snap, and they just again carve these letters every time. Perfect. It's incredible. I think that's kind of what makes me so interested in typography, because there's a lot that goes into it, or did, to kind of get to where we are today. And even digital typefaces, you know, like it's not easy. There's still method to it. You know, even I haven't really mastered that yet. And I've tried for years. You know what I mean? It takes a lot of practice, a lot of skill and talent, really, just to make a perfect letter form.
Yeah.
It's insane to think. But yeah.
Imagine like creating one though. Like not many people can say that they've added to the library that is.
Well, this is it, yeah.
You know, typefaces.
But then the issue with that is, you know, I think back in the day, you know, people who'd use hot metal type would be printers, like professionals who used them. Like typographers were professionals, they were skilled craftsmen. Nowadays, you could make a typeface and put it on that font and it'd be awful.
I was about to ask that. So, like, you've
Mm.
obviously got, you know, digital to contend with.
Mm.
And,
It's just
you know, I know a few
mass-produced,
people that have created a digital typeface. It's not quite the same as, like, physically creating one.
Oh, it's like drawn out kind of thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a difference? Is there kind of like a competition between the two? Is it like an elitism?
I think it depends, really. Yeah, there is elitism. I can go for days about, like, I was going to go into like sign painting next, but digital typography, it's a craft itself.
We could
Like,
probably keep sign paint to a separate one.
yeah, you probably could, yeah. Well, to kind of touch upon it, basically, there's certain people who are sign painters that have like one stroke charts. I can't name him, he's never going to listen to this. John Downer. Look up John Downer and even watch a YouTube video about where he teaches people and stuff. He's the most stuck up person and like ultra kind of elitist person you've ever seen in your life. You know, he'll rip down anything. Even like really good sign paint, like Joby Carter did his courses. He's even trying to rip apart Joby's work. But ultimately, does it matter? No, it's a different craft altogether, you know? And he moans all the time about digital typefaces all the time. But then, you know, it is what it is.
But there's always some
every industry's got them.
validity in that. You know, I studied film, and you know, film shot on film, and then digital films. You know, there, or even if you go back to vinyl and then digital music, it's kind of like you do
It's got some beauty kind of thing.
Yeah, and like there is a sense of like, why can't it all just be what it used to be?
I know, and
like,
that's the romanticism both of it, isn't it, really?
Yeah, you're right there. There's a romanticism. There's, you know, there's pros to it as well. The authenticity of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, these new digital methods of all forms makes it more accessible, and you know, it's got its pros as well, obviously. But I think because there's like it's mass produced in digital form, then you kind of, people who really enjoy the process will naturally gravitate to where it began and try to. I think so Lottie, my girlfriend, I chilled out with
yeah.
I went to like a family barbecue, and her dad is amazing at DJing, and he was telling me, you know, like he was teaching me how to
like mix,
but like digitally. You know, he had those decks where like you can emulate the feeling of scratching discs and stuff like that, but it's digital, and it's how you do it in USBs. And he knows how to do vinyl as well, but he was saying like, you know, it's incredibly hard to
flip vinyl
DJ on vinyl. My old lecturer actually vinyl DJs. But you know, you're saying that like if you can master it, then it's you are kind of part of the echelons,
the club,
the elite.
Yeah, the club, yeah.
And it's
This
kind of
is
the right way.
it?
If you can do that, then you can absolutely master. You know, it's that thing. And if you can DJ, if you can mix vinyl, then you can mix digital. But if you can mix digital, you can't necessarily mix vinyl. So it's kind of like it's the next level up. I think
it's like I say, it's back to basics craft, isn't it? Really, it's a bit
so
like
people. Anyone can. I say it loosely, but anyone can make a digital typeface. I know they can't, but
yeah, I know what you mean though.
But not everyone can make an actual physical typeface.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Draw it out.
Because there's kind of a lot of craft that goes into it again. Like,
so if you're in that,
things up.
if you're in that field, if you study that norm, there's a part of you that wants to be a part of that elite, and be able to touch the untouchable.
Oh, exactly. Well, that's the reason why I started, sign painting again. We'll probably talk about this in the time because it's kind of again. But put it this way, so the best way to describe this would be, I see certain people. I'm not saying it's a bad thing at all. It's just a method of using vinyl masks to do gilding or any form of painting.
Is that like a stencil?
Yeah, you know what Timia makes with like you use a vinyl cutter to make them lovely prints, which is
shout out to
beautiful.
Timia.
Yeah. Tim on Instagram. Tim.tim.tim. Is that right?
Let's get that right.
Yeah, let's get that right.
But
she does some amazing stuff. This is the thing, I'm not knocking vinyl. I think it's got its uses, but for me, because I'm learning from scratch, I kind of want to be a bit of a traditionalist and do it from draw the letter first.
Yeah, it's tim.tim.tim.tim.
Oh, 4 Tims.
4 Tims with dots in between. Graphic
Nice.
designer, an illustrator from Liverpool. Check out the stuff. It's insane.
But yeah, so people use vinyl masks, which is fine. It's a method, but it's not the way you should do it. Really, it's not the traditional way. Like you're saying about the whole mastery of it. Like there's corners you can cut, and it looks better, it looks pristine and crisp. But again, there's no character in it.
Excuse the pun.
Yeah.
Corners you can cut.
There we go. Well, exactly. Yeah, there's no character to it really.
But you kind of just to pick apart what you were literally saying then. So we go on vinyl cutting. Is it a method or is it a method in itself, like a process, or is it just a means to make it easier?
Oh, it's a means to make it easier. Absolutely, it's a modern way to make it easier. Basically, to get your lines crisp and pristine. Vinyl mask, fine. Yeah. Painters do it nowadays. I'm sure Harry used them when he thinks, well, I've got a logo to paint. I didn't design it. I didn't make it. Why would he sit there and hand draw someone else's logo? He wouldn't. He'd just get a vinyl mask made and whack it up.
Yeah, and it's probably similarities. So like a tattoo is using a stencil and then actually freehanding a design.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And you could go into drastic comparisons of film editing. They used to do it with a physical blade, and you would cut the film and then stitch them together. That's
such
how
a process.
You edited the film.
That's ridiculous.
And now you just
ridiculous.
Click the C on your keyboard and you can blade digital.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
That is probably an extreme because that is a method that obviously makes it easier. It's in a different form anyway.
Yeah.
And
it's more like putting new things into old things to make it easier and better. Which you probably film-wise, you probably could do something similar. I don't know.
I mean, I would love to cut film like that, but only for the sake of doing it.
Yeah.
But I would never
do that solely.
I would never make a film to do that because it would just be a pain in the ass.
Yeah. You could make a short clip or something maybe to be like, this is fucking cool. What would you do that with? Like a Super 8?
Super 8 camera,
that'd be cool, man.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That'd be awesome. You should definitely do that.
But obviously, there's different ways if you're making like a long form. But then,
it's like I say, it's just a way to make things perfect. It's still hard. I'm not saying it's easy at all.
Sign painting is a beauty in actually physically drawing it out. You wouldn't want like a vinyl stencil.
Well, people do because people look at it and like the gold, they like the glitter, they like the kind of arbor shell, that kind of thing. Like even the mother of pearl. Basically, all the beauty of it is kind of the materials you use on a bit of glass. But with with painting for me, obviously, I do it. I'm not that great at it, really. Very much a journeyman, hobbyist.
You're being humble there.
But no,
pretty damn good
compared to some people.
Obviously, probably compared to the people that you admire.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But like that, you know what it is. Everyone's the same, aren't they? I'm not saying I beat myself up about it, but again, I'm learning the craft basically. So it is kind of one of those things where I'd rather learn it, like say, drawing it by hand, because I could use a digital font and then paint that. Because I can basically print it out, pounce pattern it, which essentially is cutting little holes in it, like perforate holes. But I'm not getting too much into it because again, I'm going too off tangent. But anyway, You know, I could do that with digital fonts, but you can always tell what's a digital font that's been painted. And that's why I notice these painters, like artists, I call them, who use vinyl masks, because what they've done, it looks so digital. Even it's all typefaces. It's not necessarily hand drawn, because you see other people do real windows that are all hand drawn stuff. Look at Harry Mitten's stuff, for example. All of that is hand drawn. He uses no computers. He might maybe to aid them. Some sign painters do use them to aid themselves, but majority of the time it's all hand drawn, all scaled up. You know, it's incredible what he does. Like, you wouldn't believe the kind of work that goes into something like that. It's just, but that's what I mean, because you know, that's how he was taught, basically. You know, hand drawn, not print out and then whack it up and then, you know, transfer and then paint it. You know,
and you could argue that's why he's been hired.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
he's, you know,
well, basically that's why he's making money.
Method,
because he is, you know, he's on his own kind of thing. He's still making a living. You know, he's got a wife and a child, I'm pretty sure. So to make money doing it, you know, you must be, you know, he is good kind of thing, you know.
Yeah. So bringing it back to like typefaces, if you were to do your own, if, you know, we commissioned like 3 Collective, we're going to make our own typeface, where would you begin?
Oh, as in like make one to like typo face, like a typeface that you can type, basically. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Like make one to use, like for Free Collective as like, you have to know subject matter first, what it was for. So for example, if it's for our brand, for example, then I'd think, okay, what do we need here really? Probably something that's good in digital, probably something that's modern as well. You know, nothing like I wouldn't do a serif for us, for example, because I think we're kind of, I think we're very digital focused to a degree, because obviously, you know, all the like multimedia we've got going on, you know, I'm in the digital world as well. It'd be a shame not to kind of, you know, at least embrace that and do these other things on the side as we do anyway. But again, modern typeface, definitely a sans serif, sorry. And to go about doing it, I like to say that I'd probably draw it out first, which I probably would. But the only thing with that is, I must admit, I'm not the best at kind of making, you know, font from scratch, typeface from scratch. I've got the fundamentals there, just about more practice and practice and practice. Because it's one of them, there's so much methodology.
Time, so.
Well, that's it. Okay, so I'd probably draw it out first for sure. You know, test it. You know, A to Z, then do the numerals, and obviously the kind of glyphs like ampersands, exclamation marks, that kind of thing. Yeah, and then just draft it really. So, you know, you got like layout pads, which are really thin bits of paper, a bit like tracing paper. You know, do your kind of initial draft over the top and again and keep drafting until I'm happy with it, and probably do little tweaks here and there. Because again, you could make an A, for example, but it won't be geometrically correct. Things like that. But yeah, I like things with character, really. I really do. But if I was going to say something like a sign, I would just basically get some reference, because I'm humble enough to know that there's lots of references in the world that I could, you know, basically take inspiration from. But to be fair,
it's impossible to make anything original.
Well, that's it. I mean, well, you do like a standard kind of sans, you probably could. But again, it will probably, yeah, you're right, it'll still be based on something. So it's always good to use reference, I think, especially painting, like drawing from scratch. Because, you know, you're not going to be the best in the world. You know, just learn from other people's, you know, prowess, really, isn't it? You know what I mean? Don't try and reinvent the wheel, like you say. You know, it's one of them.
What are the shittest typefaces? Come on, call people out.
Shittest ones, well, to be fair, go into font and just have a look. One funny thing, I'm not going to name it because I really can't, but so anyway, we did something quite a while ago, and basically it was done by somebody else. I'm trying to very loosely describe this to get to the point, but so a brand was done by somebody else. A brand was done by somebody else.
We're in dangerous waters now.
Yeah, and they provided us a typeface to use to then make something else, that brand, digital, right?
Yeah.
But what they did, which really pissed me off, to be honest, was they got an existing typeface, put it into some shitty font making software, and they did just tiny tweaks, like basically pick the anchor point. For anyone who knows what I'm talking about, if you're a designer, you'll know what I'm talking about. Picked an anchor point, which essentially is, you know, like a pen tool with the little plus on it. You click on the path, basically, that's an anchor point. Dragged it out for like inside the letter form so it looked like it was stylized. Then saved it back out as a typo typeface, and then said that was a bespoke typeface when it wasn't. It was stolen, but it was edited. I just don't understand why people do that. That was a bad typeface.
I didn't even know this. There was software for... Wait, yeah? So someone took an
existing typeface
and just modified it?
Yeah, essentially. Best way to describe it in simple terms. Yeah.
And then claimed it their own?
Well, I don't think they actually claimed it their own, but they claimed it was bespoke in terms of like it was made for them, for the clients. But
wow.
it's not though. It's such a lazy thing to do. Look at Side by Side. What they do, they make bespoke typefaces because they literally draw them from scratch. You know,
Yeah.
which is anyone listening as well. Check them out. You know, have a look at what they do and like past clients and stuff. They do some amazing stuff. You know, and they basically make that. They might modify a typeface, but it's more to the point they do it properly and like, you know, make it work for that certain clients. This was just a shitty way to say we've made you a typeface, by the way, which is just lies. It's bullshit. You know what I mean? It's just extorting money from clients.
Yeah, that's not on. That's basically plagiarism.
It was bad. Yeah, the brand was really awful. It was really awful. I wish I could say it was, but I can't. I really can't. But it's just like I say. I looked at.
I must break so many copyright rules as well.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? I think there's a rule between if you change it by 20%, you can call it your own.
Oh, what?
Yeah. Another story about the actually copyright. I know this is a mad tangent, but it's fine. This is what podcasts are for. But yeah, so they did that anyway. It really annoyed me because again, that's a bad typeface because there's no need for it. Again, don't even make a bespoke one. If you can't make it from scratch and make it work and typeable, don't bother. That's the way I see it. You know, employ make a font foundry to make it for you. You can design it. They can make it. Fine. But anyway, so yeah, that's about typeface. Went to Portobello Road, London. The Gin Institute, it was called.
Mushroom Portobello.
Ah, could be. I don't know. Why is it called Portobello?
I don't know.
I think it's Richmond. I think no, is it Portobello Road? It's Portobello Road Gin, but I think it was in Notting Hill. I don't know much of London geography, so
yeah,
it might be somewhere similar. But anyway, we went there on a trip in university because we wanted to drink for one, and David Smith had a mirror in there, like a glass gilded mirror.
Yeah.
So he goes in this pub / bar / gin bar.
There's a lot of name dropping on this podcast.
That's fine though.
Some great.
Yeah, honestly, if I say a name like David Adrian Smith, go and find his work. It's incredible.
Yeah.
So we did the glass mirror for the Gin Institute, which Gin Institute, I think it was like a micro gin distillery, if you like.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. Probably like 6-7 years ago. Fuck, I'm old. But yeah, anyway, so he goes in there and we're like, oh, we come to see your mirror. It's quite late at night, you know, with a few bevies beforehand kind of thing. And like, oh, it's in a tasting room. It's like, oh, I'll take it up and you want to see it? I'm like, yeah, I can do, because we just all went down for like a drink and whatever. And the guy in there was really lovely, actually. I forgot his name, but he obviously, I think he was like a bar manager there or something. And he was basically just telling us like about all, you know, what David did for this mirror. And, you know, we were seeing it in person. It was absolutely breathtaking. Like, you never see anything more beautiful than cut glass that's been mirrored, etched, and, you know, it's been silvered, etched and gilded. It's just incredible. So anyway, he had this bottle of Portobello Road gin, which you can buy in the stores. It's like a really good gin. And he was telling us that they made the first labels. So obviously, new world designs, that's what we did. Graphic designers, students, blah, blah. So he's telling about this little lion. If you look at the bottle, Portobello Road gin, you'll see the little lion at the top. It's red. And I think the designer, someone did them for copyright because it was off something else. I don't know what it was from now. But someone was like, you can't use that because you've copyrighted it. Because this lion, it's like the ER lions, like the Queen's got this, like,
yeah,
you know, the lions, it's basically the same as that, essentially.
Yeah.
With like a forked tongue coming out of his mouth. And he was like, they'd done them for that copyright, so we had to remake the label. So it got a little pipe instead in its mouth, which is really fucking cool. But it's like a tiny little thing you wouldn't notice unless you've been told by the guy, you know what I mean? So not many people probably know that, but because he just went up to see a mirror one day.
So he had a trademark on the way that lion was, like,
yeah, with the whole lion, the illustration,
the tongue with a fork,
right?
Forked tongue.
But that's what I'm saying about. So going back to what I was saying, the 20% rule. So they changed it a tiny bit. It's not plagiarism anymore. Yeah, is it? Because it's different.
People must take the mick out of that though.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course they do.
It's almost like a silly
There's
rule,
probably fucking loads of examples. There's probably tons of examples. I can't think of any right now. But
it must be very frustrating because if you're in that field, you know it's a knockoff. But then the average punter will just lap it up.
Oh, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, especially, you know, clients that obviously don't know. I guess we should wrap it up there. We had, like I said, we had other plans for today, but I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, to be fair, it's just a good discussion, really.
Turned into a good typeface font.
Tip of the iceberg as well. Just a tip.
Episode. Just
a tip. It's not cheating, it's just a tip.
Oh, we can go more in depth if the listeners want that.
Well, I was going to say, you should always definitely email us or even go on the socials, actually.
Yeah, check us out everywhere. You know, 3 Collective. Obviously, the podcast is called The Creative Jam, but you can find us on various channels. We go under the name 3 Collective. We've got our own website, www.3collective.co.uk. Yes. You can email us at
hello@3collective.co.uk.
Yeah. Okay. because we've got 2 email
We've got
addresses.
2, but we're using the proper one now, not the Gmail. We're too big for that now.
Yeah. And what are we on Instagram? We can't just be 3 Collective.
We are, you know. We
Have
are
we
actually a 3
claimed it?
Collective, man. Yeah, honestly, right?
It's
You
right.
won't believe how good.
It's always a blessing when you can get the right Instagram handle.
I'm just gonna check that. Yeah, we are literally a 3 Collective, which is insane because
We should make it very clear. It's the number 3.
Yes. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we probably should.
That is how we go by it.
We probably should say it in the future because that's confusing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
The number 3 Collective.
Yeah, that's confusing.
You're asking for trouble.
Like I say, you know, we're doing this, you know, to kind of like build a community as well. We want to hear from you as much as you might want to hear from us. So
absolutely, and
be part of it.
Be part of it, yeah. If you're a professional, in any kind of creative field,
or even a budding student, you know, if you got some questions for like actual professionals.
Absolutely, we'd love to hear from you. You might even get you on.
Yeah, man.
Have a chat. But yeah, hit us up, and hopefully we'll have more in-depth niche chats in the future.
I'm sure we will.
And we'll hopefully have Matt back next week.
Yes, I'm sure we will. We're just getting started.
But yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll see you again next week. See ya.
Bye.